siya. Pero iba lang yung mga state points niya, dito. Kasi it start with 3, 4, 1, 2, So, pero yung ating mga ginagawa last week, it always, or the process always starts at the compressor. So, since cycle naman siya, edi paikot-ikot lang din naman. So, same pa din. But dito, yung sagot dito sa sample problem last week, iba yung numbering ng enthalpies, kaya wag malilito. Clear ba tayo doon? So, we will skip this part. So, this is yung Carnot cycle, which we already discussed, yung reverse Carnot cycle. So, in this part, discuss natin what are the modifications in the Carnot cycle, kaya nagkaroon tayo ng standard vapor compression cycle. So, this is also needed if meron tayong mga problems which is related doon sa mga naging modification ng Carnot cycle. Okay? So, yung importante dito sa discussion na to is you are aware on the diagrams, TS diagrams or pH diagram of the modified process based on the reverse Carnot cycle. So, if you know the TS or pH diagram of each of the modification, then there will be no problem getting the values on each of the state point. Kasi aware kayo, saan nyo siya kukuhanin? Or saan nyo kukuhanin yung value? Clear ba tayo doon? Question, clarification?
Wala naman po.
Okay. So, ayan, di na natin ito i-review for Carnot cycle. So again, yan. So rectangular or square, rectangle lang yung sa TS diagram niya. So meaning, if ilalagay natin siya with saturation line, ito. So ilalagay natin siya with saturation line, so ito siya. Okay? So what are the modifications that is made in the Carnot or the reverse Carnot cycle or the Carnot refrigeration cycle? So modification of TS diagram when using vapor or gas refrigerant in the Carnot cycle. So the TS diagram can be represented as this one. So this is the first, but this is for gas or vapor refrigerant lamang. Kaya wala tayong saturation line dyan. Kasi this is gas or vapor refrigerant. So this is working on the thermodynamic processes. Okay. So again, gas process, kaya wala tayong saturation line dyan kasi yan ay gas or vapor lang. So meaning, walang phase change or hindi naging liquid yung ating refrigerant. So it remains as gas all throughout the cycle. So using vapor as a refrigerant in this figure 5. So because the Carnot refrigeration is most efficient cycle, so every attempt should be made to reproduce it with the actual equipment. So although, again, mataas yung efficiency or yung COP na nabibigay ng ating reverse Carnot cycle, so it is not operating on the actual equipment. Kaya nagkakaroon ng modification on this reverse Carnot cycle para magawa yung process ng refrigeration. So certainly, the reversible process cannot be duplicated, but at least the rectangular shape of the cycle on the temperature or entropy diagram should be maintained. So doing so means that all heat can be received at one temperature level and reject at another. So if gas, for example, air ang refrigerant natin, so therefore the cycle would appear as like this figure 5 rather than the rectangle part of the Carnot cycle. Okay, so again, this is with the use of air or vapor refrigerant all throughout the cycle. So process 2 to 3 and 4 to 1 are constant pressure cooling and heating process respectively. So this cycle differs from Carnot cycle operating at the same 2 temperature by the addition of areas N and M. Okay? So mapapansin nyo, paano nangyari yung ganitong cycle or ganito yung TS diagram. So again, if air nga yung ating refrigerant or vapor refrigerant natin all throughout the cycle, so meaning walang nangyaring phase change, walang constant temperature. Clear ba tayo doon? Clear? So meaning kung nagkaroon tayo ng compressor, meron tayong compressor state point 1 to 2. So pag nangyari yung condensing, so ibig sabihin, wala talagang condensing na mangyayari, kundi magre-release or magre-reject tayo ng heat dun sa process 2 to 3. So through heat rejection, bababa yung temperature niya papunta sa 3. And then, 3 to 4 is isentropic expansion, pabababain yung pressure. Okay? And then again, pag nag-add tayo ng kasi dun mangyayari yung cooling sa state point 4 to 1. So meaning pag nag-add ka ng heat doon galing from your refrigerated space, so tataas yung temperature niya, papunta sa state point 1 and then paikot lang. So again, kaya wala ditong tuwid na part kasi wala naman ditong phase change. So makikita natin pag nag-reject ng heat, bababa yung temperature. Pag nag-add ng heat, nag-increase ng temperature. Clear? Clear ba tayo doon? Any question? Okay, so these cycles again differ from Carnot cycle operating at two same temperatures by the additions of areas N and M. Kasi it will not operate in two temperature kasi nga gas. So sensible heat lang yung yung maa-add or mara-reject doon sa ating refrigerant. Okay, at point 4, the temperature must be lower than that of the cold room temperature so that as the gas receives heat in the constant pressure process, it rises to a temperature no higher than that in the cold room. So for similar reason, yung temperature 2 natin must be above the atmospheric temperature. So the effect of area N is to increase the work required, which decreases the coefficient of performance. So the effect of area M is to increase the work required and to reduce the amount of refrigeration. But these effects of area M reduce the coefficient of performance. So based on this, yung paggamit ng ating gas or vapor refrigerant always decreases this coefficient of performance. Pero sa mga air conditioning, ginagamit ay air. Kasi, yan. So sometimes air, cooling medium din. Okay, so in this case, instead of a gas, yung refrigerant natin, or instead of a gas, refrigerant that is volatile, so meaning it condenses during heat rejection and boils during heat addition or refrigeration process. Such a refrigerant could therefore operate between vapor and liquid state. So para ma-maintain pa rin natin, kasi kung mapapansin nyo, meaning dito, kung gagamit kayo, kung gagamit ng gas, so yung increase dito ng area, will also decrease the COP, or the coefficient of performance. Kaya parang based dito sa modification na ginawa na to, or paggamit ng gas sa refrigerant, so parang mas, naging modification is paggamit ng liquid or yung refrigerant that can undergo phase changes para ma-maintain or hindi tayo magkaroon ng additional area M at N. Clear ba tayo doon? So, ibig sabihin, dun sa ating paggamit ng liquid refrigerant or ng refrigerant that is volatile, so nagko-condense siya, ma-maintain natin yung ating, yung line, rectangular portion of our Carnot cycle. Such a refrigerant, again, could therefore operate between vapor and liquid states. So now, with the use of volatile refrigerant, yung refrigerant that can undergo phase change, so meron tayong naging dalawang modification dito. So meron tayong wet compression, meron din tayong dry compression. So kita naman natin based dun sa ating TS diagram kung bakit siya tinawag na wet compression at dry compression. So in this case, all of this process is based on the Carnot cycle pa din. So Carnot cycle meaning sa process 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 1 to 2 is isentropic compression, 2 to 3 heat rejection, constant temperature heat rejection, 3 to 4 we have isentropic expansion, 4 to 1 we have constant temperature heat addition. So in this case, kita naman natin kung bakit siya tinawag na wet compression at dry compression. So wet compression meaning, ano ba yung papasok dun sa ating compressor? So in this case, wet mixture or nasa wet region. Kaya siya tinawag na wet compression. So, compared naman dito sa ating dry compression, so the vapor goes in to our compressor as saturated vapor, kaya siya naging dry compression. So again, comparing the two modification made in our reverse Carnot cycle. So first, again, let us start with our wet compression. So in this figure, process 1 to 2 is wet compression because the entire process occurs in the mixture region with droplets of liquid present. So when a reciprocating compressor is used, several factors discourage the practice of wet compression. So number 1 is that the liquid refrigerant may be trapped in the head of the cylinder by the rising piston, so possibly damaging the valves of the cylinder head. And another possible danger of wet compression is that the droplets of liquid may wash the lubricating oil from the walls of the cylinder, which accelerates wear. So those are the two. Nagbigay sila ng two possible danger of using wet compression. So mostly nakaka-damage sa ng compressor. So, another modification na ginawa is ito, ating dry compression. You have to make sure na alam mo paano siya i-distinguish dun sa ating standard vapor compression cycle. So, paano siya i-distinguish? So, this one, in dry compression, based pa din siya sa reverse Carnot na hindi pa nagkakaroon ng modification sa process 3 to 4. So, process 3 to 4 is isentropic expansion pa din. Okay? So, naalala ba dun sa steam turbine, meron tayong isentropic compression sa turbine which results to work output. So, meron tayong work output. So, in this case, meron tayong work output pa sa 3 to 4. Kasi isentropic expansion pa siya. So, ayan. So, again, another modification made in TS diagram of the Carnot refrigeration system is with the use of dry compression. The suction of the compressor is set to the saturated vapor line and compressed isentropically to the condenser pressure level. So, compression of dry vapor result in a temperature at 0.2, okay, which is higher than that of the condensing temperature. So, the refrigerant therefore leaves the compressor superheated. The area of the cycle, which is above the condensing temperature, is called the superheated horn. So, in the TS diagram, it represents additional work required for dry compression. So, yeah. Okay, so based on this following modification, yung standard vapor compression cycle natin, wherein ang pinagkaiba na lang niya dito sa dry compression is the process 3 to 4. So bakit nagkaroon ng modification na naging isenthalpic yung process natin from 3 to 4? So based on this one, again, meron tayong process 3 to 4 which is the isentropic expansion process. So this is another revision on the Carnot dry compression made in the alteration of the expansion process. The Carnot cycle demands that the expansion takes place isentropically and that yung resulting work can be used in order to drive the compressor. Clear ba tayo dun? So, yun yung parang isang idea. Kung bakit siya i-remain as isentropic expansion. Kasi from this one, magkakaroon tayo ng work output dito sa 3 to 4 kasi nga isentropic expansion siya. So, meron tayong work output. So, yung work output daw dito, pwede siyang gamitin to run the compressor from process 1 to 2. So, bakit hindi siya ginawa? So, meron tayong tatlong practical difficulties. Which is against the use of expansion engine. So, yung sa standard vapor compression cycle natin is gumagamit ng throttle valve. Pero, again, dun sa reverse Carnot cycle natin, engine siya. Di ka? Pinabaliktad lang yung process, pero engine siya. Clear? So, yung paggamit ng engine, merong practical difficulties. So, ang main idea kung bakit siya i-retain is for the work output na para ma-run yung compressor. But in this case, yung possible work that can be derived from the engine is a small fraction of that which must be supplied to the compressor. hindi naman, pag nilagay siya sa ano, yun. Doon sa number 3, yung economical viability, yung amount niya ng pagkakaroon ng heat engine, will outweigh, or yung benefit, yung cost will outweigh its benefit. Kasi siguro, yung pag-supply ng work doon sa compressor natin is mas mura compared sa magkaroon ka ng heat engine doon sa cycle mo. Wherein, as you can see, kahit magkaroon ka ng heat engine, doon sa cycle or work output, di pa rin niya mapapatakbo yung compressor. So kaya instead of using heat engine, gumamit na lang tayo ng throttle valve para magkaroon ng expansion process. Kasi kailangan natin mapababa yung pressure natin. So, number 2, aside from maliit na portion lang yung work na napoproduce doon sa isentropic expansion, another one is yung practical difficulties such as yung lubrication intrude when a fluid of two phases drive the engine. And then yung number 3 is in terms of economics. So the economics of power recovery have in the past not justified the cost of the expansion engine. So the possibility of using expansion engine should continue to be studied, however, as the cost of energy increases. So in this case, so sa halip na, gagamit ka ng heat engine or isentropic expansion, so ginawa na lang siyang isenthalpic. Kasi yung work output doon sa heat engine, di siya enough para, small fraction lamang ng work compared with the work that should be used in the compressor for it to work. So the necessity still remains of reducing the pressure of liquid in process 3 to 4. So throttling device such as valve or other restriction is almost universally used for this purpose. So barring changes in potential and kinetic energy and with no transfer of heat, wherein H3 is equal to H4, so that is, yung process natin is isenthalpic process. So the constant enthalpy throttling process is irreversible, and during the process, the entropy increases. The throttling process takes place from 3 to 4, which is being shown in this figure. So ito na yung ating standard vapor compression system of refrigeration, which we have discussed last week. So dun siya nag-start. Based on the modification of the reverse Carnot cycle, so nagkaroon na tayo ng actual refrigeration cycle working in actual equipment. So again, yung mga equipment nga natin na yun is the compressor. Yung main component natin is a compressor, condenser, expansion valve, and then our evaporator. Okay? Clear ba tayo doon?
Yes po, ma'am. Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any question? So ito, hindi na natin siya i-discuss since na-discuss na naman natin to last week yung mga processes dito sa standard vapor compression cycle natin. So again, yung process 1 to 2 natin is the isentropic compression, isentropic compression of vapor refrigerant doon sa ating compressor. Constant pressure, okay, take note. Constant pressure condensation sa condenser. Constant enthalpy throttling process sa ating expansion valve and the absorption of heat at constant pressure at the evaporator while evaporation of refrigerant took place. Clear ba tayo doon? Any question? Wala ba?
Wala pa naman po.
Okay, so another refrigeration. So ito yung standard vapor refrigeration cycle pa din, with the use of heat exchanger. So what is the function of using heat exchanger? So number 1 is to ensure that no liquid enters the compressor, and then also to subcool the liquid from the condenser to prevent bubbles of vapor from impeding the flow of refrigerant through our expansion valve. So in this case, ito siya. So ito yung kanyang pH diagram, showing meron pa din tayong dalawang pressure. So meron tayong high pressure and low pressures dito. Constant pressure process pa din dito. So ano yung parang naging ng ating heat exchanger? So subcooling at saka superheating naman, doon papasok sa ating compressor, tapos naging subcooled naman yung papasok ng ating subcooled naman yung lalabas. Ang process, ito kasi ay 1, 2, pero dito natin tingnan para mas clear. Okay, so ito, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But before discussing this liquid suction heat exchanger, since last week we also discussed already discussed the standard vapor compression cycle. So let us discuss what are the effects on the operating condition, in terms of COP and the work, and other properties pa, or any other operating condition if number 1 is, for example, nagkaroon tayo there is an increase dun sa vaporizing temperature. So, ano mangyayari doon sa mga values pag nagkaroon tayo or in-increase natin or mas mataas yung ating vaporizing temperature? So, can you please read this slide, Dan, Lorza? Yung effects of increasing itong nasa baba.
Hello po, marinig po ako.
Yes, okay.
Effects of increasing the vaporizing temperature. Number 1, the refrigerating effect per unit mass increase. Number 2, the mass flow rate per ton decreases. Number 3, the volume flow rate per ton decreases. Number 4, the COP increases. Number 5, the work per ton decreases. And number 6, the heat rejected at the condenser per ton decreases.
Okay. So, yun. Paano ba natin, kaya nyo na naman din tong i-compute? Kasi meron lang din naman tayo ditong dalawang standard vapor compression cycle. So after nyo masolve yung dalawang standard vapor compression cycle, then pwede nyo i-compare yung mga values na nakuha nyo. Clear ba tayo doon? So, di naman siya kailangan tandaan, pero if para lang sa design nyo, if may compare kayo na vaporizing temperature, so alam nyo kung ano yung effect ng pagtaas ng vaporizing temperature. But if, for example, sa inyong sa problem sets or kaya naman sa exam, meron tayong kinompare, tapos nag-increase yung vaporizing temperature, so kaya nyo naman siyang isolve, and then compare nyo yung values ng masosolve nyo. So, parang dalawang lang din, dalawang standard vapor compression. So, for example, ang isa is itong 1, 2, 3, 4. Tapos yung padalawa naman is ito naman, yung 5 degrees ang gagamitin, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So para ma-compare mo yan, ay di-isolve mo siya ng magkahiwalay. Para makuha mo tong mga effects sa pag-increase ng vaporizing temperature. So for example, dito kinuha yung COP at -10 at yung COP at 5 degrees Celsius. So possible naman siyang makuha since meron naman kayong table. Wala lang nakalagay dito kung anong refrigerant yung ginamit. But ito naman is applicable for all types of refrigerant. Pero yung mga values dito like 40 degrees, 5, di ko tanda kung ano bang refrigerant to. Pero ayun. May specific na refrigerant na ginamit dito sa problem na to. So, browse na lang. Mababrowse naman siya. Pero, again, ito naman is for lecture purposes lang. To show what are the effect or what is the effect of increasing the vaporizing temperature. Okay? Clear ba tayo doon? So, again, in this case, so you can see, sa COP natin, with the increase in evaporating temperature, tumaas yung ating COP. Parang na din naman siya, may isip mo na din siya. Kasi mas kukunting work yung magagamit mo pag hindi mo siya, kapag yung inyong refrigerated space is hanggang 5 degrees kumpara doon sa -10 degrees. So, ibig sabihin, pag mas mababang temperature, magre-require talaga yun ng mas mataas na work input. So, pag taas ng evaporating temperature, mas liliit yung work niya. Kasi mas mababa or mas mataas na yung temperature na kailangan mong i-maintain sa refrigerated space mo. In this case nga, hindi pa siya bumaba ng 0 degrees. Naging 5 siya. So what again, the effects are this. All of this. Okay? Clear ba tayo dito sa slide na to? Question. So again, pag may ganitong problem, sa exam, so kaya, actually madali nga siyang isolve, kasi dalawang standard vapor compression cycle lang siya. Tapos i-compare mo lang yung value. Clear ba tayo doon? So again, ano yung dalawa na vapor or standard vapor compression? Kagaya nito, ito lang i-compare mo. Parang yung sinolve lang din natin last week pero naging doble. Tapos i-compare mo yung mga results. So 1, 2, ito yung original. Ito, 3, 4. Tapos, nung tumaas yung condensing temperature niya, naging 1, ito pa din siya, 1. Tapos ito na yung 2, ito na yung 3, tapos ito na yung 4. Okay? Ayan. So meaning, in this case, yung result ng ating condensing temperature, ito kulang lang siya. Pero as you can see, bumaba yung ating refrigerating effect. The refrigerating effect per unit mass decreases. Kasi, nung tumaas siya, ito na lang yung refrigerating effect compared doon sa original na from itong line na to. Okay? Clear ba tayo doon? Okay. So, kindly read this slide. Aldrich.
Effects of increasing the condensing temperature. Number 1 is the refrigerating effect per unit mass. Number 2 is the mass flow rate per ton increases. Number 3 is the volume flow rate per ton increases. Number 4 is the coefficient of performance decreases. Number 5 is the work per ton increases. And number 6 is the heat rejected at the condenser per ton increases.
Okay, so in this case, the effect of, again, increasing our condensing temperature results to a decrease in our COP since bumaba yung ating refrigerating effect. Tapos, tumaas yung ating work. So alam naman natin that our refrigerating effect divided by work is our COP. Okay, so again, yan, kaya nyo naman siyang isolve. Kasi dalawang standard vapor compression cycle and then you have to relate the properties lang. So, next naman natin is superheating. Effects of superheating the suction vapor. Okay. So, meron tayong tinatawag na useful cooling at without useful cooling. So, yung useful cooling, yun yung with the use of heat exchanger. So, ito naman is based on, ayan lang, yung processes natin. So, we will differentiate it later, pero these are the effects. So, can you please read this, Junella? Okay. So, next naman natin. Okay, so this one is subcooled naman. So, effect of subcooling the liquid. Okay, so yung pagkuha ng ating subcooled na property, in this case, kasi yung ating temperature 3 is 40 degrees Celsius. Yung sa subcooled naman natin, kasi nag-subcooled, ibig sabihin bumaba yung temperature, naging 30 degrees Celsius. So, in this case, yung pagkuha natin is HF pa din, HF at 30 degrees Celsius. Pero, in reality, yung pagkuha niya is yung HF natin, minus, or yung H or enthalpy natin ng subcode is HF minus T, HF minus CP delta T. So, ano yung CP delta T? Kasi nagkaroon na tayo ng sensible heat removal. Kasi ito yung heat rejection, diga? So, yung process 3, itong 3 to 3 dash, kasi from 40, naging 30 degrees Celsius, ibig sabihin, nagkaroon ng heat rejected with change in temperature. So, sensible heat na siya, which can be computed by multiplying our specific heat with a change in temperature. Yun yung actual na pagkuha ng H natin for subcold. Pero, ang gagamitin na lang din natin is table since malapit lang din naman yung value. So, ang gagamitin natin is HF at 30 degrees Celsius naman yung pagkuha ng ating subcold. So, meron tayong sample problem mamaya para mas matandaan niyo yun. Pero, in reality, again, ganito yung pagkuha niya. Yung HF, kasi HF tong nandito sa point na to. So, bumaba, ibig sabihin nagkaroon ng rejection ng heat. So, yung amount na heat na na-reject na yon is itong CP delta T. Yung CP natin is the specific heat liquid, liquid refrigerant kasi liquid state dito, multiplied by the change in temperature. So, in this case, 40 minus 30 yung naging change, so 10 degrees to. Okay? Pero, again, pag solve natin, HF na lang. HF at 30 degrees or subcooled yung kukuhanin natin. So, what is the effect of subcooling the liquid? So, yun, nag-increase yung ating refrigerating effect. Dito. Increase our refrigerating effect. Yung work of tone natin nag-decrease. Yung mass flow rate decrease, volume decrease. Yung COP natin, since bumaba ang work, tumasa ang ating refrigerating effect. So, nag-increase ang COP natin. So, heat rejected at the condenser per ton also decreases. Okay. So, this is naman is a liquid suction heat exchanger natin. So, again, yung function natin of heat exchanger is number 1, to ensure that no liquid enters the compressor kasi magiging superheated yung lalabas ng ating heat exchanger. So, bago pumasok ng compressor, sure na wala siyang mixture ng liquid. Next naman is to subcool the liquid from the condenser to prevent bubbles of vapor from impeding the flow. So, magsasubcooled naman yung lalabas ng ating heat exchanger before going to our expansion valve just to make sure na walang vapor. So, meaning, subcooled siya, all refrigerant is in liquid. Sure na liquid phase kasi nasa subcooled region na siya. So, those are the function of the heat exchanger. So, again, with the use of useful cooling, gumagamit tayo ng heat exchanger. Pero, just like this one, so meron tayo mga processes dito na nagsusuperheat without the use of heat exchanger. Clear ba tayo doon? So in this case, yung ating process pa din is 1, 2, 3, 4. Pero with the use of heat exchanger, meron tayong superheating at subcooling. So nagkakaroon tayo ng 6 na state point. So take note na pag sinabi sa problem, nagagamit tayo ng liquid suction heat exchanger. So ito yung ating equipment and then ito yung ating pH diagram. Pero pag walang sinabi, pero nagkaroon ng subcooled at superheat, so instead of having 6 state points, meron pa din tayong 4 na state point. Clear ba tayo doon? Clear ba tayo doon?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, so magbigay tayo ng isang example galing doon sa Hipólito, pero papakita ko lang. Na pwede, na meron tayo, yung parang for the sake of comparison, na make sure na kung merong heat exchanger, na sinabi dun sa problem, edi gagamit kayo. Kagaya nito. Ito, kita naman natin dito sa sample na to, na TS diagram, na nagkaroon ng subcooled, pero hindi naman sinabi na gumamit ng heat exchanger. So, meaning, yung ating state point pa din ay 4. So, 1, 2, 3, 4 pa din. Clear ba tayo doon? So meron din tayo dito na nag-subcold at superheat pero 1, 2, 3, 4 pa din or hanggang 4 pa din yung state point kagaya nito. So ibig sabihin dito lumabas na siya ng na superheated dito naman. Yan. So siguro mga auxiliary equipment na yung ginamit para ma-make sure na ganun yung lalabas ng evaporators. Kasi in this case, wala naman ginamit na heat exchanger. Kaya state point 1 to 4 pa din siya. Pero again, pag sinabi sa problem, na gumamit ng liquid suction heat exchanger or gumamit ng heat exchanger, then therefore magkakaroon ka ng 6 na state point. And then alam mo dapat kung ano yung mga state point na yun. Kagaya nito, process 1 to 2 sa compressor pa din siya, 2 to 3 condenser, 3 to 4 nasa heat exchanger na siya. So 5 to 6 evaporator, 6 to 1 nasa heat exchanger. So yung subcooling at yung superheating natin as a part siya ng heat exchanger. So dapat alam mo kung paano mo kukuhanin. So refrigerating effect pa din, energy balance sa evaporator, condenser, heat rejected, energy balance pa din sa compressor para makuha mo yung refrigerating effect, heat rejected at compressor. So you have to make sure na mag-energy balance ka sa lahat ng yan. So pwede rin tayo mag-energy balance sa ating heat exchanger para makuha natin kung ano mang kailangan value dito. Okay? Any question?
Minsan nga pong heat rejected yan sa...
Always sa condenser ang heat rejected natin.
Okay po. 2 to 3 po.
Oo. Kaya mahalaga talaga na, bukod kapag may heat exchanger, dapat parang na-imagine mo to or na-drawing mo na lang din. Para alam mo siya i-plot dito sa pH diagram natin. So, we have here problem, pero di ko nabura naman. May sagot na pala siya. So, barahin muna natin. Tapos, isa-isahin natin yung pag-sagot. Okay. So, kindly read the problem. Kindly read the problem, Ian, David.
An ammonia refrigeration system has liquid suction heat exchanger and operates at 36 degrees Celsius condensing temperature and -10 degrees Celsius evaporating temperature. If the heat exchanger provides 6 degrees temperature, subcooling and the evaporator capacity is 50 kilowatts. Compression is isentropy. Determine the following. A. Enthalpy at different section of the cycle. B. Mass flow rate of refrigerant kilogram per second. C. COP of the system compared with COP of standard vapor compression cycle.
Okay. So, inalagay ko na din yung pH diagram with the use of liquid to suction heat exchanger. So, ayun. Meron daw tayong condensing temperature na 36 degrees Celsius. So, ganito na lang natin siya sulatin. Wait. Okay, so magsulat din kayo dyan kasi nabubura agad yung dito. Tapos malalaki pa lang. Malalaki pa yung sulat. So, meron tayo dito daw, condensing temperature na 36. Tapos, ang evaporating temperature natin is -10 degrees Celsius. So, if the heat exchanger provides 6 degrees Celsius subcooling, so meaning from 36, nabawasan ng 6 degrees. So, meaning sa state point na to, nag-subcooled ng 6 degree, ibig sabihin naging 30 degrees Celsius. Okay? Clear ba tayo doon? So, for example naman, kung may binigay naman na superheat, ay di idadagdag mo lang din siya sa -10. So, in this case, walang binigay na temperature. Pero again, pag gumamit ng liquid to suction heat exchanger, nagsusuperheat pagkalabas ng heat exchanger bago pumasok ng compressor. Okay? So, given natin ay, so meron tayong QA, which is 50. QA to. 50, di lang masyado. But ang lalaki kasi ng sulat na to. Yan. QA is equal to 50 kilowatt. And then, yan. Nakalagay na naman lahat ng values. So, now, you will be getting the enthalpy on each of the state point. Okay? So, paano natin kukuhanan yung mga enthalpies dito? Okay. So, ano yung mga pwedeng kuhanin? So, para makuha natin yung enthalpy, kasi 1 at 2, superheat. So, ibig sabihin, sa chart mo na yan titingnan. Pero yung H6 natin, H6 is equal to Hg at negative 10. Yan. So, take note, ammonia ang ginagamit natin dito. So, sa ammonia kayo titingin. So, for H3, ano pa makukuha? H3. Makukuha mo din yung H3. So, H3 is bago pumasok ng heat exchanger, galing condenser. So, HF siya at 36. So, dapat alam pa din paano kunin. So, yung H4 naman is equal to H5. So, again, as I have mentioned earlier, yung pagkuha ng ating subcode is H is equal to HF dito sa part na to, HF na to, minus Cp delta T. Kasi ima-minus natin yung sensible heat na nabawas para maging subcold siya at state point 4 or at 30 degrees Celsius. Pero in this case, ang ginagamit na lang natin para kasi malapit lang din naman yung value niya, HF at yung subcold temperature na. Clear ba tayo doon? So instead of using this one, pag walang given, pero pag may given, so ito yung gagamitin nyo. Pag walang given na specific heat sa problem, so pwedeng ito na yung gamitin, HF at 30. Although, magkaiba yung value niya, pero tinatanggap na din to as solution. Clear ba tayo? Okay. So ito, HF ang ginagamit kasi subcooling siya. HF? Ibig sabihin, ito yung enthalpy at state ng liquid, tapos babawasin para maging subcooled. Pero pag superheated naman, ibig sabihin for this one, so meron tayong delta T or superheat temperature. Plus naman yun. So ibig sabihin, Hg naman, H is equal to Hg. Kasi Hg ito. Plus yung i-add mo pa na heat para maging superheat siya. So plus Cp delta T. So you also have to make sure kung ano yung Cp na gagamitin. Since vapor siya, ay di Cp na vapor ang gagamitin mo. Kapag may Cp na binigay. But in this case, ang gagamitin natin is chart, para makuha yung superheated. Pero, in this case, parang makukuha din siya through heat exchanger na energy balance. So, yan. Let us proceed na lang. So, meron na tayong 3 known values of H. 3 ba? 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ano bang wala? Yan, 4 values. So, H6, makukuha natin, H3, H4 is equal to H5, which is HF at 30 degrees Celsius. So, lagay nga natin, ano ba yung mga value na to? Eto, may nalagay akong table para mas madali. H6 is Hg, pero wala dito yung 30, kaya titingnan nyo dyan sa inyo. So, again, ammonia ang titingnan, Hg at negative 10, Hg is, eto, 1450. So, 1450.22. So, 1450.22. So, pangit sulat, kilojoule per kilogram, pero yun, yung dinidikta ko na lang. H3 is HF at 36 degrees Celsius, 370.957. Ito yun, no? So, pag may maling value, sabihin nyo na lang sa akin. 370.957. Kilojoule per kilogram. Pangit, laki kasi ng sulat niya. Okay. So, next naman natin is HF at 30. Ano yung HF at 30? 30 degrees. Ano HF at 30? Okay, so sa ammonia ka titingin. Anong nakita niyo na ba?
341.769 kilograms per kilogram.
So, ammonia, tapos 30, ito, 30, yan. 341.769, tama ba?
Apo.
Ano nga? 3 ano?
341.769 po.
Okay. So, yan. So, meron tayong H6, H3, H4, H5. Okay? So, lagayin muna natin. Okay. Ayan. Ito na yun. Yung mga nakuha nating value kanina. Okay? Clear ba? So, dito naman, since meron tayong H3, H4, so meron tayong 3, 4, nakuha din natin yung 6, so walang H1, so pwede tayong mag-energy balance dito sa heat exchanger natin. So again, energy in minus energy out or energy in is equal to energy out. So, magkaroon tayo ng energy balance dito sa ating heat exchanger. Para makuha natin, pwede natin makuha yung H1. Pero if meron namang binigay na degrees of superheat, makukuha nyo naman siya sa table. Okay? So, papasok H3, so plus, palabas H4. Papasok H6, palabas H1 is equal to 0. So, in this case, pwede siyang maging H3 plus H6 is equal to H4 plus H1. Clear ba tayo doon? Pero, ayan. Yan, pwede rin naman na, paikot-ikutin nyo na lang yung equation so as long as hindi naman nagbabago yung mga given or yung nyo, so wala namang problema. Okay. So, yan. Magkakaroon kayo ng energy balance sa heat exchanger to get H1. So, please compute for H1. Pa-compute naman ako, H1. Anong nakuha niyong value? Pwede rin na energy in is equal to energy out. Yun, yung ginawa natin kanina. Again, H3. Papasok. Tapos palabas equals out. In equals out. Pwede rin siya. So, in H3 plus, ano ba papasok? H6 is equal to H1 plus H4. Kasi mga palabas yun. So, naka-equal. Parang negative din siya. Nakuha ba? Sila ko ang value.
1,479.408.
Okay. So, ito ay lang na value. So, ito. Anong sakto?
0.408 po.
Ayan. 0.08 lang. So, para maging sakto siya, 1479.08. Pero ito, yan, malapit naman.
0.408 po.
Okay. So, ang gamitin na lang sa mga susunod ay di 1479.08. Clear ba? Ito kasi yung nandudod
Hindi
pa.
ba? Ano ba? 0.408 po.
0.408.
Po, may kadagtang lang po yung ano.
Okay. So, ito din pala siya. Okay. Kaya pala natatawa. Parang ang bingit siya paulit-ulit na ako, hindi pa naririnig. Okay. Clear ba tayo? Malinaw? Okay. So, malinaw tayo hanggang H1. So, as you can see, H1 natin is nasa superheated na siya. Alin na lang ang wala doon sa A? Kasi ang unang hinahanap is enthalpy at different section of the cycle. So, ano na lang nawawala sa atin? H2 na lang. Which is, yun, superheated. Yung H1, superheated din siya, pero yun nga, pag nagkaroon ka ng energy balance, makukuha mo naman siya. So, what you will do is to get H2 doon sa chart natin. So, paano natin siya makukuha doon sa chart? Again, kailangan mong kuhanin ang pressure sa condenser at saka, pressure sa condenser kasi ano yung mga properties doon sa state point. So, pag gagamit tayo ng chart, kailangan may dalawang known value ka sa state point 2. At yun is yung pressure natin dito, yung constant pressure natin. So, pressure at T-condense. Ano ba yung pressure at T-condense natin? Condense natin is 36, so pressure is ito, 1391.5. Tama ba? So, we will be looking for the value of H2, which is equal to H at P condense, which is equal to 1391.5. So, kailangan natin dalawang value. So, kailangan mo pa din mahanap yung S1, which is equal sa S2. S1 natin is superheated. So, paano natin makukuha yon? So, meaning, since this is superheated, kailangan mo ding i-plot yung 0.1 mo. So, meaning, kailangan mo pa din kunin yung P evap. So, ano ba yung P evap? State point 1, P1 is equal to P evap, which is 291.57 ito. So, 291.57, and then, H na to. H1, ito lang naman ang known dito, wala nang iba. So, 1479.4. Okay? So, ito muna i-plot mo para makuha mo yung S dito. Okay? So, in this case, ito yung ating, So, again, 291, ito nga ba yun? Ano ba tayo? Ammonia, no? Ayan, 291 at 1479. So, itong point na yon, ito yung point 1 natin. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung 6 natin. So, as you can see, nasa negative 10 talaga siya. Kasi negative 10 yung atin. So, parang tama siya, no? Clear ba tayo? 1479 yung H1 natin. So, ito yung line na yon. And then, 291, since ito kasi ay per by 10, so 2 by 20 pala, 220, 240, 260, 280, 291. So, parang, so yun, parang, ayan, mababa, or mas mababa pa siya ng kaunti. Clear ba? Clear?
Yes po, ma'am.
So parang mas mababa pa siya ng konti. Ayan. Tapos, ano ba yung entropy dito? So, compute ninyo. Parang sobrang naman. Compute nyo kung anong entropy natin dyan. Okay. Kung mapapansin nyo, siya ay nasaan siya? Nasa pagitan siya ng 5.8 at 5.9. No. Parang nasa mga 5.87. No. Tama ba? Parang ganon. So, bale, sa pagkuha ninyo ng value, yun yung isa dun sa inyong titingnan. So, ano ba yung same? Ano ba yung same? Kanina. Again, nakuha natin entropy, which is, mabubura din naman siya. Pero tandaan nyo na lang, para nasa mga 15.87. Gayon, no? So, entropy is para nasa mga 5.87. Okay? And then, now, ang isa pa is ito, pressure dito. So, nakuha natin entropy, pressure naman dito. Pressure at 36 again is 1391.5. So, itong line na yun, ito. Ano? And then, ibu na lang natin to doon sa same entropy. Ano nga ba yung entropy? Yung 5.87. So, parang nasa pagitan siya ng 5.87. Ito. Yan, iibo natin ng konti. Kaso, kung mapapansin nyo, 2.9. Ano nga yung value natin ng 300? Ayan. So, anong mga value yan? Ito. Clear ba yung paghahanap? Pero, ka naman kayong mag-alala kasi kung ano yung nakikita ko sa chart, yun yung gagamitin natin sa exam or sa problem set. Clear ba tayo doon?
Yes po.
Ayan. So, maglinya-linya lang kayo dyan. Ayan. Parang nasa, yan, gitna. Parang nasa gitna naman pala siya. Ito. Ano ba? Itong 1.8, yan, adjust lang natin ng konti. Kasi 1479, pero hindi talaga siya 148. Yan. Para sa mga 5.85 pala siya. Yan. Parang yan. Okay? Anong value ng ating ano dyan? H2. Anong H2 natin din eh? Pero dapat nagagawa rin kayo dyan sa inyo. So, meaning in this case, again, ito ang ating 1, ano? Ito yung ating 6 pala. 6. Tapos ito yung ating 1. Ito yung ating state point 2. Okay? Yan. Anong value yan? Value. Pa-type na lang dun sa ating in-call messages. Ano nakikita nyo? Parang lang nasa, anong value? Okay, so mapapansin nyo, ito yung ating, yan, ito yung hati natin. Yung hati nating 1710, no? So, parang nasa mga 1730. Ano ba sagot nyo? So, take note na kailangan yung ayusin yung hatian kasi may hati pa kayo dito. 1710. Tama? Eh, dun sa pag hinati mo siya, di pa siya lalagpas ng 1715. Tama ba? Kita ba? So, therefore, hindi siya lumampas, parang mas nasa kalahati pa siya. So, parang nasa mga 1713. Ano? Pero doon sa, dito, sa ating inaano natin, nasa 17112 siya. Kung ang sagot ninyo is 171, 1712 which is malayo naman, 1710 to 1714. So, tama naman. So, ayun. Clear ba tayo doon? So, this is from ammonia chart, 17112. Muna yung gamitin natin. Pero again, yun. Since same naman tayo ng pagtingin sa chart, hindi naman nagkakalayo yung magiging sagot natin sa problem set or sa exams. Clear ba tayo doon?
Yes po, ma'am.
Clear. Next naman natin is yan. Since we already solve for each of the enthalpy at different points of our pH diagram, so letter B is for you to determine the mass flow rate of the refrigerant. So you have to take note that if you use heat exchanger, ang ating paano nyo makukuha yung ito kasi given natin is 50 kilowatt refrigerating effect. So, ibig sabihin, ito, yan, magma-mass balance kayo or energy balance sa evaporator natin. So 5 at 6 ang gagamitin natin na enthalpy. Tama ba? So therefore, to get yung ating mass flow rate of the refrigerant, so to get yung mass flow rate of our refrigerant, so this is equivalent to, di na siya kasha. Ito na natin ilagay. So mass flow rate of our refrigerant is, yan. Yung atin, again, yan. Tama ba? Clear ba? So that is QA. QA is equivalent to MR times H6 minus H5. So kukunin MR since given siya. Makukuha natin is 0.0451 kilogram per second. Clear ba tayo hanggang diyan sa mass flow rate? Question. Clarification. Okay, pataas naman ako ng kamay kung clear tayo dyan. Okay, so ito naman ang sunod kong ipapakuha. So, di muna natin bibigay ang sagot. So, compute nyo muna to. The COP of the system compared with COP of the standard vapor compression cycle. So, take note na yung ating vapor compression, yung standard vapor compression cycle natin is, ayan. So, without the use of heat exchanger, yun ang i-compute ninyo, pero may subcooling at superheating pa din siya. Clear ba tayo doon? Okay, so meaning, yung standard vapor compression cycle natin with superheat and subcooled, ito yung 1 natin. Yan. Kaya you have to make sure na dun sa problem, kung nagamit ba siya ng heat exchanger or hindi, kasi mag-iiba yung state point. So 1, 2, tapos ito na yung 3, ito yung 4. Yan yung standard. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na kapag standard, na siya, laging ganon yung state point niya. So, yung standard is yun, yung meron tayong 4 components and then meron pa ding alteration kung subcooled or superheat, merong mas mataas yung evaporating temperature, mas mababa, or mas mataas yung condensing or mas mababa. Okay? So, kindly compute for the COP and then COP with the use of heat exchanger. So, ito yon. And then COP ng standard, which is itong 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So, I'll give you only 5 minutes to solve this Okay, so take note pala, yung standard vapor, yung COP of the system compared to the COP of standard vapor compression cycle. So, ang gagamitin nyo dyan is yung standard vapor operating at negative 10 and 36. Clear ba tayo doon? So, alin ba yung standard vapor cycle natin dito? So, yung normal na walang ano. Ito, yung COP, standard vapor compression cycle, without without the use of heat exchanger. So, in this case, ito. So, dito ka magtutuwid. Ayan. Tapos, ito. Pero hindi ka lalampas doon sa 2 na yun. Clear ba tayo doon? So, meaning, you have to get the value of H2. So sabihin na natin, this is H2 prime. Tayo. So, again, yung temperature natin dito is 36 degrees Celsius. Ito namang temperature natin dito ay negative 10. Clear? Clear ba? So, first is, ano ba yung ating, ng cycle? Anong ating COP nitong cycle na to? With the use of heat exchanger. Anong COP natin?
Hindi ko po alam kung tama.
Ano yun? Sagot niya.
4.89113551 po.
Opo. COP of the system is ano? Anong ginawa mo? Diyan.
H1 minus H5 over H2 minus H1 po.
Ano? Ulit? Ulit.
Ano po? Yung QA over work po.
Bale, ang ginawa mo ay
H1 minus H5.
Okay. Utoy, yung ating ito. Yung ating evaporator ay 6 at 5. Yung 1 ay pagkalabas ng evaporator. So, ang gagamitin dapat ay 5 at 6. Tapos 1 at 2. So, H2 minus H1. Evaporator pala. H6 minus H5 over H2 minus H1. Clear ba tayo doon?
Okay po.
Okay. So, kaya yon pag may heat exchanger, so tingnan natin yung niya. So, about dun sa ating standard vapor compression cycle. So, bale, for our COP ng standard cycle, anong nakuha nyo? So, COP of the system with heat exchanger is, ito. Ano ba yan? Ito. Yan. Okay. So, meron tayo, or 50 kilowatts, or yung kilowatt of capacity natin, or refrigeration is 50 divided by work. Wherein, again, yung work natin is H2 minus H1. So, H2 minus H1. Okay? So, therefore, COP natin is 4.765. Okay? Clear ba? Thumbs up nga tayo. Kung clear tayo doon. So, how about the COP naman natin? So, meaning, kailangan mo pa din ulit kuhanin yung mga, kailangan mo kuhanin yung, saan na ba yun? Yung 4 standard vapor compression cycle. So, again, yung kanina is, pwede siya 1, 2, 3, 4. Pag may sinabi sa problem na, yun, subcooled, tapos hindi sinabi na standard vapor compression. Pero in this case, ang gagamitin natin ay yung, ito lang. Yung standard vapor compression cycle natin last week. So, itong tuwid na to, ayan, tapos ito. Okay, so meaning, kailangan mo pa din hanapin yung H2. Anong H2 natin dyan? So, pressure pa din natin at state point 2 is yun pa din 1391. So, ano yung entropy natin at 6? So, entropy natin at 6 is, anong entropy natin? At 6 is entropy at negative 10, which is 5.7550. Tama ba? Okay, 5.7550. Clear ba? Ayan. 5 lipat na natin to, tapos hanapin natin yung 5.7550. So, parang nasa pagitan siya na, nito. Yan, ito. Kasi nasa pagitan siya nito. 5.7, nasa gitna, almost, pero mas mababa ng konti. 5.7 at 5.8. Clear ba? So, 5.755 SG, so ito yon point na to. For standard vapor compression cycle, yung atin 2 prime. So, ito, 2. Tapos, ito yung 2 prime for vapor, standard vapor compression. Clear ba tayo doon? Okay. So, meaning, for us to get the COP of the system, so, para natin makukuha yung COP natin. Ganun, ito. So, since ang susundin natin ay itong tuwid na to, hindi naman siya tuwid, pero itong tuwid na to, hindi pa din siya tuwid. Ayan. So, ito yung ating 2 prime. Ito yung ating 3. H3 pa din yan. So, ito is equal sa H3. So, for us to get yung COP natin ay QA over work. So, yung QA natin is H6 minus H3. Tama ba? And then yung ating work naman is H2 prime minus H6. Okay, clear ba tayo dyan? Clear ba tayo doon sa equation natin? So, para hindi na tayo malito na nag 1 prime, 6 prime pa tayo, na ni-utilize na lang natin yung mga H values na given doon or nakuha natin doon sa previous or doon sa totoong system. Clear ba tayo doon? So, therefore, for standard, ang gagamitin natin ay ito, tsaka ito. So, again, para makuha natin QA, A yan ha, din R, QA, is 6, at ito, 6 minus 3 kasi isenthalpic yan. And then, for work naman ay 2 prime minus 6. Okay? Clear ba tayo doon? So, ano ba yung 2 prime natin? Again, para siyang nandito, 168, 1 or 168. Okay? Kopyahin ko na lang dito again, tapos tingnan nyo na lang yung sagot. Clear ba tayo? Question. Dito. Any question? Naintindihan ba?
Yes po, ma'am. Okay na naman po.
So, eto. Yan. Screenshot nyo na lang para if you wanted to review, edi marireview ninyo siya. Tapos, ito naman yung, again, this is COP without the heat exchanger working in the standard vapor compression system. So, ito yon H6 minus H3 all over H2 minus H6. Makakancel naman dyan yung mass of refrigerant. Okay, so therefore, the difference in COP shows advantage of system with heat exchanger kasi mas mataas yung COP with the use of heat exchanger. Okay? Any question? So, meaning, with the use of heat exchanger, pinapataas niya, pinapataas niya yung COP. So, dito kasi is may direct na binigay na kilowatt of refrigeration. But let us try to compare yung work natin. Ito. So, meaning, yung work natin is, itong in kilojoule per kilogram is 1712 sa may heat exchanger. 1712 minus 1479. Tama ba? 0.4. So, 232 yung work niya. Pero, dun sa isa naman, 1680 minus ano? 1450. So, yan. If merong nabigay na problem, yan. So, mas mababa ng konti yung work. Pero yun nga, mas mataas yung refrigerating effect, pagka almost nagsisame yung work, kasi 232 at 230. Okay? So, ayun. So, dito, mas mataas or mas tumaas yung refrigerating effect kapag nagkaroon tayo ng heat exchanger. Do you have any question? Malinaw ba itong problem na to? Malinaw.
Yes po, ma'am. Okay na naman po.
Okay, so ito naman, solve nito, problem set 3. Problem set number 5. Number 5 na problem. Kasi yung 1 to 3 sa Carnot, 1 sa last week, ito pang 5. So this will be submitted, yung soft copy nito will be submitted Friday. Bago tayo mag-move dun sa next topic natin, which is actual vapor compression cycle. So I will be giving problem then before the midterm exam with additional problem set para nyo din yung ibang type ng problem. Any question?
Pati po yung problem 4 po is Friday din po ang soft copy.
Okay.
Okay po, thank you po.
Any other question? Additional question? Clear ba? So, yun. Again, nire-remind ko lang din kayo, na meron tayong process na subcooling na hindi sinasabi na gumagamit ng heat exchanger. So, beware na. Kagaya nito, subcooling lang, tapos ito naman, superheating lang. So, at least ngayon, na-try natin paano nyo hahanapin yung mga enthalpies kapag ganun. So, yun. So, dito sa case na to, walang binigay na other component. So, meaning, ganun pa din. 4 pa din yung component niya. Pero yun nga, pagkalabas ng dito, evaporator, pagkalabas ng evaporator dito, superheated siya. Clear ba tayo dun? Pero yun, kapag sinabi, again sa problem na merong ginamit na heat exchanger, so yun, gagamitin nyo. Any question? Clarification? Okay, so yun nga, yung problem set muna. And then we'll continue our discussion next week. So I'll also be giving you the problem, yung sa system and components of refrigeration system. Yun kasi yung last topic natin bago mag-midterm exam. And more on concepts naman yun. So yun yung part ng reporting for the last week, sa week 8 natin. So next week, bibigay ko din yung mga naka-assign sa inyo para alam niyo yung i-discuss niyo ng week 8. Okay? Any question? If wala nang tanong, goodbye class and see you next week.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po.